Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995, Studio A. And now onto the show.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. It's Monday at 2:30 and here I am. I have a nice studio audience with me today, so hopefully they're going to ask me some questions that I'm not, obviously, as you know, I'm not always sure. In fact, I don't know at all what they're going to be asked, but I go into some sort of a trance and I feel very confident that I'll be able to answer the questions that are thrown at me. So please call in. The number is, and I know I'm going to get it right this time,
888-994-995.
995. Everybody's laughing because once I get into this state of mind, or whatever you want to call it, I don't remember what I meant to remember here on this earth. Okay, so here we go. We're open to anybody that wants to ask me questions, and anybody in the studio, please ask me anything that you feel that is
things have often happened, and we talk about it, and it seems like it came from an alternate timeline, and we've had conversations about that. Could you please describe what an alternate timeline is and how it affects certain people certain ways?
Well, gee, thanks for a very easy question. Okay, a timeline it's an alternative, what I would call a universe. There is, and it's very difficult to explain that because even for me to understand this, we're just not here. We're also someplace else too. So anybody listening in for the first time is going to think I'm totally nuts, okay? But I'm having a problem also understanding this. So whilst we think this is the only place that we are, we're not. I truly believe that. And I've had many, as you know, and we've had validation of things going on somewhere else. So what we're doing here, there's just an easy way to explain that, and it's hard. I know it's very difficult, even for me to understand. There's only a part of us here. We are somewhere else too. We're in a lot of places all at once. I think I'm going to stop there because this is a difficult question to answer, but I'm slowly beginning to understand this because we have validation. I'll say something that's relating to maybe a different place and a different time, but I seem to get a deja vu of that. Everything's going on at the same time, so we can actually tap into different parts of timelines. We can go to the past, we can go to the future. Anybody wants to, I could go on, but I may lose my audience. So ask me something a little more like.
Sorry for my less than poignant question.
No, I love that. But for viewers, and we seem to have a lot of viewers that are tuning in that haven't tuned in before, I may lose them, Steve. So please ask me something, anything. I'm open to any questions. It's not that I don't want a difficult question, but it's a little hard to explain.
So this morning my daughter was in, and I know you were having a little conversation with her, and things that you didn't want to tell me 2 weeks ago. I think you actually had a chance to sit down with her and share.
Yes, I did.
Did she give you some validation to those?
She did. I without divulging, you know, what she had talked to me. Yes, and a lot of what she was saying, I kind of understood from the message that I had given you.
Right.
You know, sometimes when I get messages, especially for you when it's your daughter, it sometimes seems to be for me. And I was telling her that. But I think that the question that she asked me related to something that had happened to her a couple of weeks ago. So I told, that part is gone now from her life, and that is a good thing without going into it. She's starting again with a different situation that will be developing. So I hope she understood that. She seemed very happy that I had said that.
Yeah, because I saw, so I was wondering if that gave you validation to what it was.
Yes, it did. And you know, we can sometimes, especially if a message, for some reason, when you ask me about your daughter, the message seems to be for me.
Isn't that funny?
That is funny. I haven't quite understood that, but it seems to be because I'll get the answers and I'll get the validation of something I thought was for your daughter. I didn't exactly go over that too, because you probably also would have thought I was nuts, but I did it in a tactful way.
When you get ready to do your readings and your spirit guides come, does it like a light switch that changes in you? Do you feel it change?
Yes, I do, and I actually like that question because it's a more simplified to explain it. We are on we have vibrational energy. We're energy, and we have different degrees of that energy. So if you're in a negative state of mind, you will lower that vibrational energy. I'm certain of this. I mean, I can't prove any of this, but other people do talk about that. So you'll lower that vibration. So what we want to do is we want to make our vibration a little bit higher when we're in that state. So the only way that I can explain that is you're either positive or you're negative. Negative will lower your vibration. Being positive higher your vibrational energy. Depending where you are, and I'm going to say spiritually, and that's very broad, you know, to say the word spirituality, but if you people that may be getting an inkling of what I'm talking about, and for myself too, because I'm learning, you can higher that vibrational energy up, and you will actually meet, and this has come, I was talking to my friend the other day about it, and I see it very clearly. You're going to get the people who are on that vibrational energy. So the higher you go, you're actually really bringing in positive people. Now, going to people, I'm going to say on the other side, or the veil, there's a veil between us, they are on, not everybody there is, but the ones we want to talk to are on a higher vibrational energy. So they actually can lower their vibrational energy, and we can make ours higher. So I believe that's what I'm doing now. Because I'm in a different place right now, I am now coming into contact with the people that want to talk to me. I'm going to use Aldo as an example. Because he knew so much here, much more than what I'm talking about, and people that have been following me know who Aldo is, but when he passed, he went into, and their vibrational energies on the other side, into a very high vibrational energy. But he's able to, just as he was here to explain certain things to me, lower that so I can hear him. I can hear many people. But if I was sitting here, let's say in a really bad mood, and I don't want any part of this, I've lowered my vibration, I couldn't do my show. I'm absolutely certain of that. So just to help anybody to understand that, the simplest way of explaining this is please try to be positive, because you're going to bring in what you attract. So it really makes sense. If you're very negative, you're going to bring unhappy people into your life that are happy in that state of mind. But if you want to change that, start thinking positive. It's as simple as that. It's complicated, but it's really simple, if that makes sense.
Does it make sense to you?
It does make sense.
Good,
The
good.
part I never heard before was how they can lower and you can raise so that you can meet in the middle. But it's funny because there are people, even people in the business that I know, who are able to look and see things from the past, are able to look and see things from the future. And you sit there and it happens. And I mean, how in the world can you have coincidences happening in both directions? It can't. Either they see it and they tell you about it or they don't. And it explains one way that can happen.
And that's very interesting too, because I have, and you know this, Steve, I have predicted many, well, not many, but quite a few things that have come about. And it could be a week that it happened, it could be the following year. I have no way of knowing the time of which it's going to happen, but we've had a couple of things that happen within a couple of weeks of each other, which I always seem to have validation, because I'm surprised myself, but it seems that I will tell somebody and they see it come about. So to me, this was actual proof of what I was talking about. Can you just give me the end of that question? I was ready to.
Well, it wasn't a question, it was an
So what
observation.
you
That you're able to see the future or the past, depending
Right.
on your vibrational.
So
energy.
really we have access. If we higher our vibrational energy, we're talking to people that actually do have access to the past, the present, and the future. Because to make it, it's complicated, but to simplify it for myself, everything is actually happening at the same time. It's just where we choose to put ourselves in what we call, quote, the now, because there is no time on the other side. So if we choose to, understand that the best we can, we can go wherever we want. And there's been programs on that. You know, they make fiction, they call fiction movies about that. There is no time. So there's time travel, and there's people coming in from the past. I truly, truly believe that we can do that, but we have to be aware of that. We just know, and I include myself absolutely in this, we know that much. But the more that we learn, you will find that you will attract that, and then you'll see validation of what you're actually learning. I've learned that, and you've attested to that, Steve. I'm learning all the time. I learned a lot from Aldo. 18, 19 years with someone that understood all this. He would have given up on me if I wasn't learning. So the questions I used to ask, he answered because he was able to, but it's only now, and he transitioned nearly 2 years ago now, that I see some of the questions I didn't understand when he gave me the answers, but I truly believe he's helping me now understand. It's becoming simpler for me, much simpler. I have in myself, and I don't talk about ego, you guys all know that, because I believe we can all do this, but I'm learning because I am so ready to understand more. I mean, this is who I am, and I want to help people to understand more.
But then answer me this. If you have the ability of touching the frequencies past or future, and someone asks you about what's happening to them, their vibrational energy is not there that they can see what's going on in the future. So is your calling to be able to tell them, this is what I see, and is it being based on what? Is based on your frequency and theirs, their frequency tomorrow, their frequency in the past? If you're talking about frequencies, how do you answer the question?
Do you mean telling versus them learning?
No,
Exactly. Well, is that the answer? I don't know.
I understand, and I'm actually getting an answer on this. They don't know necessarily, and I don't know. But how am I able to answer all these questions? I'm getting
That's
help.
my point.
I'm getting help. I have to lift my vibrational energy. They don't necessarily have to do that. This is what they're telling me right now. As long as I'm able, because I can hear, it's telepathy. I can hear the answers to what, as you were talking, I got the answers to this. Because the ones that feel, it's not me necessarily feeling that other person, they are. The people that are my guides that are coming to me. So they're able to now transmit to me what that person may need to know. And you know what? That's the first time I've actually understood this. Thank you for that question. And they're telling me that because I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers to simple things sometimes. But with their help, but I have to be in this kind of state that I'm in right now because my energy is higher. So I see much more. I feel much more. We can do that. It took training. I can't say you can suddenly switch to that, but because I do this show and because I do this a lot, I've been able to do this kind of on demand right now. And you guys know that. I'm one thing here and then the next thing I'm different. But we all have the ability. But the first thing that I would say to someone that's tuning in right now is just be aware that there is so much more, so much that we don't know. When you start to do that, and I have Steve sitting here, who's my husband, who has seen this, the validation that we then get. I mean, I don't expect even you or even myself, because I sometimes used to say to Aldo, what are you talking about? But the more and more that you become open to this, the more that it is going to attach to you, and they know that they can talk to you.
Well, let me ask you, when Steve was sick, did you get messages about how he was doing, how his treatment was, what was coming next?
That's a lovely, not a lovely question, but it's a good question, and it's one that I can answer. I tried, and you can talk about this, Steve. Someone might have thought that I was very unfeeling when you were going through that. And I admit that that's how I appeared. But I knew, because the sickness that you had was a very negative sickness. And I knew if I pulled myself down to that negative energy, I was going to be no help to you whatsoever. And they're telling me this. So when you said you know, I'd sit there seeing you couldn't eat and you were in pain. What am I going to commiserate with you and say this is awful, this is terrible, what we're going to do? And I don't suggest anybody does this, but this is how I acted. I would kind of say, you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. It could be a lot worse. There could be treatment that couldn't treat you. And that was my way of coping. But I also believe that it was my way of helping you lift up a little bit with this.
And also, with you being an empath, it was probably difficult for you to do the things that people would expect you should do.
Right.
And you had to do them differently. Otherwise, you would fall apart.
I would absolutely, and I can't, because, you know, and it may sound a selfish thing to say, but we come first, because we can't help people if we crumble, and that applies to anything. Now, you know, people might say, that's horrible to say, you're putting yourself first. It took me a long time to understand that, but I've had so many situations that have been so negative that I have been pulled into. I try very hard now to not allow myself to be pulled into that negativity. And that's not just me, anybody, because you cannot be helpful to anybody else. And going back to the situation that we were in together here, I couldn't allow myself to be negative, and I still won't. I mean, yes, I have times when it happens, I'm human, but I try to correct myself. And the best way to do that, and I'm not suggesting in our situation, but if someone is very negative, you don't have to not talk to them, but it's best to just leave Aldo used to say this to me. We were not happy all the time. My guide, many times I said, oh my God, get out of my house. But I had to, he used to do this. He would go out of the room. He said, I can't take this energy. And today that makes so much sense to me, because each one of us, you don't have to be an empath. You're an empath. You feel it more, so you're more aware of it. But we all have that feeling. But if you're an empath, it's much worse. So how can you put yourself in there?
True.
It's terrible.
Just to qualify this, you did make me as many soft-boiled eggs as I could choke down. So,
I had no choice. You had to eat something, Steve. Yes. Yeah. But you try to make, I'm going to say, the best of any situation.
Changing the subject from my illness, to this weekend, we just came out of Father's Day weekend, and as you know, I was having a bit of a difficult time. It's been 10 years since the loss of my son, and it seemed to have hit me very hard this Father's Day, and I honored him with his picture on Facebook, and I got a lot of nice responses. Was it his vibrational energy that made me do this? Was it my vibrational energy? Was it a combination of both?
No, I believe it was your vibrational energy.
And was there a message he was trying to send me in all of this?
I honestly don't know, Steve. I know that obviously when it's Father's Day, and that's probably people listening too, you've had we've lost our fathers, you lost your son, you know, and that's very sad. So there was a lot of, it's coming to me. There was a lot of negativity associated to Father's Day. As much as there's positivity, there's negativity, and maybe you were pulling some of that in. You know, and I know you spoke to your cousin, Linda, and I'm sure you're watching, Linda, hi. We try to still see the best of situations. I mean, Father's Day brings back memories. It's like anything, not necessarily just relating to that. You can associate with a song sometimes. If you were very unhappy when you heard a song, it's not the same as a person, I understand, but you're going to bring that energy back, that feeling. If a song makes you feel good, listen to it. You're going to bring on that vibrational energy.
Well, in years past, every year, I would post a picture of my father and honor my father on Father's Day, who's been gone for almost 50 years. What do you suppose made me honor my son this Father's Day and not my father?
That I honestly can't answer, Steve. Maybe later on I'll come to some decision that I'm able to answer that. He was more in your thoughts that day, you know, and it's not because there's no time on the other side. So to end this on a happy note, he's happy that you honored him. We're all happy that you gave yourself that opportunity to post this, you know, to people, which Facebook allows you to. So just end it that It was good. He honored, he's happy as far as I can feel, and it's hard because it's personal. I know you, so I'm not sure, but this is the message that I would like to give you. Whether it's from him or not, I cannot be sure, but he's happy that you honored him, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Josh.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Before I ask my question, I just didn't know if there was any messages that my spirit guides want to tell me.
You're home. That means here.
Thank you.
Amen. Welcome back.
Okay,
Yeah.
that came out very loud and clear. I see you're home. So I know you're not here in the cafe as much, but this is your home, Josh. I know you feel comfortable here. We all go about and do our own things, but you know, something always pulls you back, and they're very aware of that. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Of
to
course,
you.
yeah. And then going to my question, I don't know if you have any tips or qualities to strengthen your mind, like building that inner self-confidence for yourself.
Okay, I can only relate to what I have done, and I have made this part of my own life. Can I do other things? Yes, but primarily I feel that I will be where I'm needed. I will answer questions when I'm needed. I feel that this is my path, but not everybody feels that. I have learned that today. Keep an open mind. That's very, very important. So if you feel that things are happening, or you think of something and you turn on a radio, as simple as turning on a radio and you're thinking of a song and it's there, or even thinking that someone's going to call and you hear from them, be aware of that. Realize there's a little bit more. If it keeps happening, you will then think, well, how is this happening? It's not coincidences. And the more you open your mind, the more that you're going to see and hear a lot more.
Okay. And then how do I not put my fears onto others and just...
Well, it's hard for me to answer that because I'm an empath. So I'm going to feel what you're feeling, but not everybody does. So if you're around people and you have fears, try, as we started off the show by saying, try to get out of that the best you can. And the best way to do that is to start thinking of more positive things. If you're fearful, say, well, okay, I've got to change how I'm feeling, because you can transmit, obviously you can transmit that to other people. That's why there's so much, unfortunately, in the world today. Why is there so much, all this going on? I have my own views, and they were talking, if you're watching the Today program this morning, about how, I'm not knocking Facebook because they'll probably take me off the show, but how people get into social media. I'm just joking, Facebook. How you get into social media and people that are talking all these negatives, it passes on. So once in a while, and I'm lucky enough that I have so many friends on my site that believe the same way as me, I'll look at a positive message. We need to do that, especially through social media with children today. It's not wrong, but unfortunately there's so much negativity that they're pulling in. They go down to that level. So let's just raise, and I will keep saying this, I sound like I'm just repeating it, but let's raise that vibrational energy as best we can. And that means if you're talking to someone and you're feeling scared, be aware that they may be getting your vibrations. So try to change that.
Do you find that social media is lowering the energy of our youth?
I do, because if you just look back, and I mean, they were talking about it today, kids identify, they're not talking in person. So they identify with all these things that, I mean, current affairs, very, very tragic. Yesterday I turned on something, there were 3 shootings, mass shootings in one day. So obviously it's going to affect us. So it's like a snowball effect. So I haven't got the answer to this. I do believe, truthfully, it starts in a way with parents, because they're doing the same thing. So if a child is watching a parent continually on a little square phone like this, they're going, oh, that sounds interesting, and they're going to do it. So I think they have it kind of backwards. Let the parents understand that if they're telling their children not to keep picking the phone up, stop it yourself, because that's the answer to all the negativity that they're
The addictions. But
The
I feel as if, because the kids are always on social media, they're not having the opportunity to go outside and play,
Absolutely.
to dream, to be in that creative space. They don't get it in school because they're always with curriculum. And I think social media is stopping that creative flow. So to aliens, is that part of the messaging that's coming down?
Yes, but you know, it was the alien. It was the aliens that helped us to get to this point, actually, and that's interesting too, because our technology over the last 50, 60 years is unbelievable. So I believe, and again, I hopefully there will be disclosure. So what I'm saying will be disclosed. But they came and they taught us so much. Not me personally, but people that are able to pass this on. But it's gone a little haywire now because I don't think we were ready quite so much for this. You know, we needed to do this gradually. But I can tell the aliens, you know, but no, it's not really funny, it's sad. But we've advanced very fast within 50 years. And I don't know what's going to be happening soon, but we'll say, oh my gosh, now there'll be something else. We've somehow got to do this slowly so that we get accustomed to certain things, and then we have maybe 10, 15 years to understand that and go on. I'm open to all technology, absolutely, but it has to be monitored, definitely. If they don't monitor AI, it's going to run wild, crazy. There has to be a stop to this, there has to be.
You want to take a commercial break?
Yes, fine, I will.
You want to tell them?
I am not here. Okay, but I do remember the phone number to call in. We're going to take a commercial break for a few minutes and we will be back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? Ant Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422. Love the Brooklyn Cafe? Don't miss out on some of the latest merch we have available. Need a new shirt? The Brooklyn Cafe has you covered. We have a variety of shirts in all sizes, ranging from the classic cafe shirt to the highly coveted colorful hot dog shirt. Need something for cold weather? Why not grab one of our cafe hoodies? Or you can snuggle up with one of our soft silk touch fabric blankets. The Brooklyn Cafe has everything you need, from clothing about the show to our signature coffee blends and mugs. Get it while supplies last.
Do you want the opportunity to have a TV show or podcast? Now, at Ant Media Productions, you can host your very own visual broadcast anywhere around the world. With our talented group of creators, we will provide you with show elements, board operations, and any on-screen visuals you'd like to showcase. All you must do is log onto your computer and communicate with your viewers. Contact Ant Media Productions at 866-224-5422 or email hello@amp2.tv to start your own show today.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book and artwork by visiting artbysallybarnard.com. Now back to the show.
Hi, we're back. Questions, please.
Give us a call, 888-994-4995. Studio A, asking Sally any questions that are pertinent or just you want to know about what's happening.
Great.
We were talking about life's purpose also, right? We started the show thinking about life's purpose. And it's interesting how things come full circle, because what I did prior to doing this, I have got my degree in communications, I got my master's in special needs, and now coming forward, I know this is my life's purpose because I've been able to take all of these pieces of my life and put it all together here, including our Ant Media Futures Foundation, which spotlights our interns, all of our interns, but also accepts those that have different abilities and diversity. So we accept everybody, and I know that has been part of my life's purpose. And in my heart, I know that goes back to a past life of helping children in some way. Do you think other people feel that same validation, or you just need to actually stop and look at all the pieces?
I think it's a combination of both, Dawn. I know that this is also my passion, and I waited later on in my life to even get started on that. If I had felt the same passion as a child, I definitely would have followed this more, but I opened up to it. It's something inside of you, and it keeps you going. I call it passion because I like that word. It's passion. When you're doing something you're doing, and even if it takes a whole day and an evening, you somehow don't seem to get tired. It's like you're pushed to do something that's really important. Is that related somehow to a previous life? I think so, because we decide what we're going to do as best. I'm always going to say as best I know, but I do know other people follow this same thing. We decide something and we come in and we don't know because we forget when we come in. But I think when you suddenly feel very like this is what you're meant to do, I feel that this is left over from, we've had many past lives, so it's left over from a life that we chose to relive, so to speak, with situations and circumstances in another particular life. Mine was definitely, I had a passion to become an actress. I very much wanted to do that. And that was to do with show business. I feel very much at home on the airways. I have no problem, and you know me from the very start, to talk in front of people. I wasn't trained to do that, and yet I feel very comfortable doing that, just as you're saying the same thing, Dawn. And when we follow our passion, nothing is too difficult when we're following our passion. Nothing, I really truly believe, goes wrong unless we make it go wrong when we're following our passion. It's different for everybody because we're all individuals with free will. But when you feel happy about doing art, I didn't know I was an artist. I started to paint and I felt happy. I was following what I was being told to, but it was like I was telling myself, go paint. So my answer to that is when we're on the right track, keep going. Even if it's something you thought, what am I doing this for? But if it's giving you pleasure, you feel that you want to continue doing it, continue doing it.
Because I didn't even realize at the time when we started working together, going in 8 years, that they would all merge into one. To me, they were separate, and they were just pieces of my life of like raising my kids. That was separate, and special needs was separate, from communications was separate, until coming here. Freddie calls this the house of passion. Until I realized those were all learning experiences for me to learn the lessons to bring this all together.
It's like completing a jigsaw puzzle.
Correct.
You do one piece there, it comes together somewhere in the middle. You do another piece, but finally, after a while, and it might take the puzzle, bang, this is what I meant to do. And you say, oh my gosh, I haven't completed it, but I can't stop now. That's what they're using, a jigsaw puzzle. Because if you're 3/4 or halfway through it, and you've enjoyed the first half, you're going to really enjoy the second half because you've got to that point. Don't stop. If you're a writer or you think you can write, start writing. You get obstacles maybe in the beginning, but you feel happy. You kind of lose yourself in it. Be art, be acting, be whatever it is. Everybody has a different passion, but follow it. No matter what your passion is, follow it.
It's very important, I agree, to know what your path is. There's a saying that says if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that's, pretty profound. Right. But before the break, you were talking about social media and its effect on society and youth in particular. And I believe Steve had something he wanted to add about that.
Well, yes. I mean,
do you have your mic?
You have the thousands of gamers that they don't socialize face to face. They have headpieces and they talk to each other, and that's about the game, on the game, but they don't do face to face. Granted, they'll communicate from around the world, but.
I believe that this is part of a bigger problem, Steve.
Right.
We are here, we're meant to talk and we're meant to see what we're talking to, be it even a flower. We need to see the object. So if we're suddenly basically in another world, we don't see the person, although we can see the person. Communication, I believe, on Earth is very important. I also feel that we get feelings from people. So people that get, it becomes an addiction of some kind, because if you're continually, whatever it is, if you're playing a game or I'm going to use it, I'm probably going to have, oh no, but sports is an addiction, because you are losing anything that you lose yourself into is addictive. And they're doing that.
But I mean, the sports, at least it's physical.
Yes.
And it's social.
And I put that way down because I don't want to offend people either, but you can kind of get the picture by that. Suddenly there's a mass audience of thousands of people watching a game. Yes, it's lovely and it's bringing enjoyment, but if you don't win that game, you get really depressed.
Well,
but I'm not going to really even touch that topic, but I look at it from a slightly different point of view. Politics,
me also.
Same thing. Politics I won't even bring up, okay?
Right.
Maybe sports I will, because I loved sports as a child and I was very good at sports. So I'm not knocking the fact that you shouldn't play sports, but we get too engrossed in it. That's basically what I want to say.
I think, Sally, what you're talking about is people's individual being, not likes. I mean, I like a lot of sports. I like a lot of things. But me, spiritually understanding me, I got to do that first before I like anything.
Perfect.
Because if I'm not able to like myself, how in the hell am I going to like anything else? And who's going to listen to me, what I have to say, if I'm going to be at a frequency that's so much lower because I don't like myself?
Yeah, and that's exactly really what we started off by saying, Freddie, yes, and it's absolutely true. We have to be true to ourselves, and we have to like ourselves. And if we've got faults and we're aware of them, you don't have to stay with those faults. Try to change yourself the best you can. Nobody really can change you. We can hear what people say, but basically, who changes you? Yourself. You've got to want to do that. And once you do that, you're going to find, I mean, I've worked on myself, and I'm the first person to admit that I certainly wasn't this way, but I worked very much. I've been lucky enough to have people in my life that have put me up. I was really good in sales. I didn't know I could do that, but everybody used to say, you can do that, as you guys have done in the studio here. I came in here nearly 2 years ago. I didn't know anything about this.
Sally, I'm going to give you a secret. Before I met her, I was never on the air. And then when I met her, I still wasn't on the air because it wasn't about me. It was about putting cameras in front of other people. I did not think myself at that level that I was going to say anything that mattered. So I was never, right? For 2 years that you know me, I was 8 years before that. It wasn't about me. That wasn't my calling. I wanted to hear what other people had to say.
That's very interesting to me, Freddie, because I didn't imagine that I could even do this, as you saw when I first came. But when you start, it's not that it's not there. You're just not aware that you could do it because you hadn't brought it to the surface. But once you do, it could have been something that you were not going to be interested in, and you would lose your interest. But once you start to follow the path of something that has come into your mind, and it's happened to me over the last 2 years, I'm very aware that I can do this. I didn't know that. But the more that I did it and I'm getting validation, I can't stop because it's my path. It's my passion, and it all falls in. It's like that puzzle, it's all falling in.
Well, you find something you're good at.
Yes, but I didn't know that. I
knew that you were what they call a late bloomer.
I certainly was, and I was with art. It was only 19 years ago that I picked up anything, to draw. But I realized, without even trying, that I was, although my art is a little crazy, but I realized that I could do this. If I'd never picked up that, even if I could listen to a message and I never picked up a paintbrush, I would never have known. If I had never walked into your studio, I would not know I could do this. I was told to come into the studio, as you guys know, 3 years before I actually showed up, thinking, well, what do I have to offer? But once I opened up to that, and it's with everybody, it's not about me, it's about everybody else. Once you open up to that, you feel it, you know that, you can do that. Today, children that are on these talent programs, they have no fear at 2, 3 years old. You listen to some of these kids, how they sing. They didn't say to themselves, I can't do that. They get up on the stage and they perform because they love it. I'm believing that's from another lifetime, but that feeling was still there. Not every child can do that. It's only a few. But they're amazing. How are they amazing? They haven't had lessons. They can hardly speak.
Now, Sally, you have a couple of events coming up, a couple of seminars where you're going to be at certain places. I don't know if you have the dates for them yet.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, these places, is it open to the public as well?
I don't know. I'm going to find out. I maybe not because but I am going to
This is
do
at
that.
different country clubs.
And country clubs. But if I'm not, I've had a few people ask me that they want to come and listen, and you guys too. I would love that. I'll do something on a stage that is open for people to come and listen to me, because I've had a few requests for that too. I don't make the real rules, in a country club. I don't know.
No,
So-
I understand, but the question I have for you is, when you have 20 or 30 people in a room, does it change how you view frequency?
No, it's exactly the same, because we're all the same. If I'm on a higher frequency, it doesn't matter where I am. I can be in front of a stage, I can be here, I can even be driving. If I'm on that higher frequency, I know that I can do it. I know that I can. People will say, how do you know you can't? Because I can. I couldn't do something that I wasn't, that someone asked me to that I didn't have any interest in, basically. I say, I can't do that because that's not my passion. My passion is now, especially with older people, to show them that their life is still going on. I'm at a certain age right now, and I feel that I want to share that with people, to show them whatever. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but maybe you can paint. Maybe you can do other things. Do it. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or even 90. Do it. Do it. Why not?
What about when people are saying, I love this, but there's no ROI. I can't pay my bills with it.
Well, yeah, that's also a very good question, because we need money. So it is about money. However, I truly believe, although you may not see it right away, if you're following your passion, everything that you need will come about. I'm not saying you're going to have a tremendous amount, but you will always, this is what's happened to me. You can always meet your needs. Now, if you want to aim higher, because you can give more to other people by going out onto the airways, by having a show, and you have to maybe finance that, do it. It'll come back to you. It will come back to you. You don't have to believe me, just try it. Try it.
So tell them, what do the guardians and guides say about this studio and where we're going with the foundation?
Again, put out what you want, because it's coming back. I think you're beginning to see that. Go out and do what you feel is right. And I know you have plans on that. Don't worry about, what's that going to cost or this and that. It doesn't matter. Do what you're doing. You will succeed. And I've been telling you that since day one, although I don't remember everything I'm saying. Whatever you can't, I know it sounds ridiculous, and I hope you don't test me on this, but I truly believe you can't do wrong if you're doing what you want to do. You will meet I am here in the studio. I'm a walking example of this. I know what I want to do from here on in my life. I'm meeting the people here in the studio, the lady that's offered me, to go into the country clubs. I hadn't thought about that. She came to me and said, you're a speaker, would you like to speak in the country clubs? It's not about money even. Yes, I'm going to have a book out there on my art, and I will advertise that, because everything does take finance, but it's more than that.
But Sally, one of the reasons I'm asking you that is because you have to highlight the fact that you're going to do that.
Absolutely.
You have to highlight the fact that you do that. Because a lot of people ask me, does she? And here you are, you booked 2 events. I think it's 2.
No, I've got 5 now.
Okay, so
wow.
So if you, if we didn't
I
even
think
know
4 or
that,
5.
if you have 5, why in the world aren't we advertising Sally Barnard, call me Zena, whatever name you want to use, is going to be, and she too could be in different places.
Well,
this number.
I would definitely love to do that, Freddie. I just don't know if all these people can show up in the private country clubs, but we can do that separately to that.
To invite them to that.
Just to let them know you're going to be there.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, well, I am. Anybody out there that wants me for whatever, what I'm doing here, if you want to invite me to a certain place, I'd love to go on the stage and talk to more people, which I'm going to be doing there. So, and you can always listen to my show. It's aired here at the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook. All you have to do is go into Call Me Zena. A very good example of that.
Well, I had a lady who does similar, not the way you're doing it. And she highlighted the fact that she did. And she got picked up for a reality show.
Well, this is what I'm putting out there, and I'm so happy you're giving me the opportunity, because my head, when I'm here, is more to answer the questions. I do need to really talk more about myself. But a very good example of that, I'm just finishing the old edition. I'm bringing it up to date of my book, Call Me Zena. I'm going to have another one out in 4 or 5 months. Now, I don't know who's on the other end of the line. However, within 2 minutes, you were here when I got my book will be ready. I called the woman up. Within 2 minutes, she knew me. She said to me, "You're an empath. I can tell. I have to go into Call Me Zena. I have to see what you're doing, Sally." She didn't know me. She hadn't read my book. She was just about to put it into, the editing. Well, it was finished, but she hadn't read it. She couldn't wait to read my book and see my art. It's not me. It's that vibration that's doing that. So yes, I need to follow a lot of what I talk about. I believe it, but I need to put it more out there. And thank you for.
Well, I got a question. Now that we've come to that conclusion, I'm about to embark on a program. Which has to do with doing things out of Boca. It has to do with doing things in Tampa, in Atlanta, and things of that nature. It has to do with things that we don't normally do in-house, but we do out of house. I'm going to bring in people into the equation that I've never met before. Never. But I was told that's my path. So my question to you is, will these outside endeavors be successful?
Yes, but you know what? You can do what you do, and you do it very well, Freddie. Obviously, this is the proof of what you're doing. As long as you believe that, it's very important. It goes back to the beginning of the show. Go with your feeling, but it makes more sense now why you should go with that feeling, because you keep yourself up. Keep yourself up. The right people will come to you without even having met them. You see it in the studio here with me. If you start questioning that and say, "I don't know about this," and we all do it. It's not criticism. We all do this. You may attract somebody that may not be the right person for what you believe they are. But keep your hopes, your dreams high. You're on the right path. Don't get talked into it by other people too, who say, whatever. Don't sink to that level. It's a saying we says don't sink to that level, but it's actually don't sink to that vibration. Keep yourself up. If you feel one day that you're not able to do that, then I should do it myself too. I suggest that you don't meet that person that day, and maybe something else will happen. But yes, you guys are on the right path. Absolutely. Does that answer the question?
It does, and no, I'm full steam ahead. And a lot of people ask me a billion questions that I don't have an answer to, but I don't do things that way anyway. I do them, and I figure out the answers as we go along, because the one thing I've learned about life, if you try to figure it out, it's going to trick you into just seeing things that aren't there.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to go forward with doing this. But I was curious because I wanted to ask you what you felt. This is probably going to be, I haven't done this kind of push in 18 years, where I'm going into the unknown, something that I don't know how it's going to end up good, better, and different, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to take what I understand to be what I do and take it to another level, and drag everybody with me. I'm going to drag all of you with me on this one, because I think it's come to a point that we have to do something different from everybody else to make it known. And I think it's because of the foundation, the kids that are coming in here, and the calling has gotten even bigger, and you can't ignore the truth.
Just from what I'm feeling, Freddie, I feel so comfortable with everything you have just said. I feel that you definitely are on the right track. You know you can do it, so go ahead and do it. I believe truly that you are on the right track. Keep remembering that. And it's hard because we're only human. Things happen out of our control and we can get upset. But try to just keep that up. And I don't see anything going wrong. I really don't.
Well, it's hard because there's the naysayers, right? There's the humans that aren't at their own vibration. So they only see what they see. They don't see what you feel.
And that, again, I'm not to criticize people, but that's where they're at.
Correct.
So, and I go back to this, I say it all the time, always good things happen to you, never to me. I'm having a bad day. Well, you're attracting people that are having a bad day, so they commiserate with each other. Oh my God, you're right, this is happening to me too. Instead of saying, from here on in, if you get to that stage, I'm going to have a great day. Don't have to believe it, but you'll suddenly see you're having a great day. And you'll meet people, oh, I'm so happy to see you today. I'm so happy. Sounds crazy, but honestly, it works.
It does. It does. And Baxton proved that to me this weekend. It doesn't matter if it's raining. The sun is always out around that kid. And everybody sees it.
Perfect.
And I spent the Opal weekend with him, and everybody sees it. And he's a lovable guy because he doesn't frown. He gets down more on himself, but when he's at that level, it's an unbelievable feeling.
It's a charisma. It's something, you know, someone can walk into a room and they'll immediately look at that. My grandson has that. He's not listening because he's out of the country. But the moment he walks into a room, and his sister, my granddaughter, will tell you the same, everybody looks at him. It's a charisma that he has because he's very confident. Even if he's having a bad day, you won't know it. And he's very confident about what he does. We can all do that. I've learned a little bit from him, and I don't see him that much, but I know what he is and what he can do. And it's important. You give that, you portray it in your feelings, in your looks, how you even dress sometimes. It's all part of making you up as a person that is a positive person.
So is Elizabeth here with us today?
Elizabeth never leaves you. She's saying, all you have to do is mention her name, and she jumps right in, Dawn, jumps right in. But she also knew me very well, too. She knew us. We were, for people that don't know about this, we've had messages from her. We were all part of a big family, okay? A bigger family than we even realize, and I'm getting goosebumps because she's sitting right here, right here.
So what does she say today?
She's going, keep on smiling, actually, she's saying. Keep, you know, it's a song I'm hearing. When trouble,
Bridge over troubled water?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. With trouble, yeah. And I'm good with, you know, I can remember every word, but I've gone blank on that. But I'm feeling that. And that's what she's saying. Listen to the words of that. For right now, because of the way I am, I don't remember, but you know I know words to every song normally. But listen to that song. She's playing that for you.
Interesting.
Bridge over troubled water, yes. Now, I'm not saying I don't know, and it's not for
he was humming it. Steve was humming it. So.
Was he? He'll know the words. But yes, no, she's here. She's right by you. With troubled waters, without troubled waters, a bridge, no bridge, she's with you. She's saying, don't keep telling her about troubled waters. Tell her there is no bridge over troubled waters. She's going to be fine. She's not going to sink into the water.
Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. But you have to believe that, Dawn. Life is good. Life is great. Okay?
I feel like we've been brought here through many a journey, through many a tumultuous situation that we've been led here. And every day, like the new producer that came in today, he just sat right where you're sitting and he told me this was his vision, not even knowing that's what we did. He'll be back tomorrow.
Because the right people are coming back to the studio. The ones that you say, oh, they say they're going to come back and they don't turn up. I mean, this happens to me too. I'll ask someone to come in and they say they'll be here. I mean, my one show here, or two now. They don't show up. But you know the right people are here. The right people show up. So you can push somebody, and if you can even bring somebody in that way, but it may not be right if you've led them and, you know, kind of said, you need to be here. No, the right people are in the right place that will show up.
It's amazing. And you got Tahiti Steve here,
Yes,
and I'm glad that
yes,
you told Josh he's home, because we do feel that way about all of our producers when they come back. We know they have to leave, but when they come back, you know, they feel a sense of home and connection.
Because
every time I turn around, this guy, I think he lives in the closet.
He lives there, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
just get out
know.
of the closet.
Yeah.
No.
But he has a good vibe. I like to
Yes,
see. He
he
has
I
a
also
good
want
vibe.
to ask you, Sally, it seems like a lot of families came home for Father's Day. I want to say even more than Mother's Day. I mean, you had your boys here and your grandkids for the first time in a long time. My daughter came in. Today was just chaos because there were people in the studio and in town in this vibration that haven't been around in a long time, certainly not at the same time. Is there something behind all of this?
There is, because it takes, like what this show that I'm telling people, you want to meet or you want to do these things, escalates. It's, as Aldo used to say to me, it's like throwing a pebble into the water, and it goes and it goes and it goes. So you can be the first one to put this out, but then it'll go to the next one, and they will gravitate to a place too, because something inside of them will say, you know, I want to be there. They don't even know why they're saying it, but if they follow that, they'll find that a lot of people suddenly accumulate in a place because it's the right place most of the time. I can't say all the time to be. Now, if it's a negative person who starts putting that out, guess what? You're bound to be in the wrong place.
Well, actually, Steve's son put that in my head because he came forward to you this weekend, and your boys came this weekend, and my kids came this weekend. It seems like it's a different generational pull this weekend more than other. I mean, there's Mother's Day and there's other holidays, but for whatever reason, this Father's Day, you even said it. Why your son this? That's why I'm asking Sally. It's a collective. Is there a change of energy?
It's a collective thought, actually. That's the word that's coming to me. It's a collective thought. Whether you passed as your son had passed, it doesn't matter. It still goes to them too. They, I do believe, on the other side, are putting that thought process into our heads, like I'm talking through them right now, because they want to see all this.
And your daughter says, hey, don't forget about me. I know, Louise, we don't forget about you either.
Yeah, I'm getting the goosebumps, yes. Yeah, she said, just because it's Father's Day, it doesn't mean that
don't forget about me.
Yeah, we remember.
Well, I also had a stack of producers that wished me Happy Father's Day over the weekend.
Nice.
From prior years. And I asked them all to come on Friday because they're part of the history.
True.
And, you know, and I said to them, come and take a bow, because this isn't about just throwing a knife. This is about all of you. Because it took a village to put together 8 years. And I'm not dumb enough to say that it was just me and you. Absolutely not. So you may see some surprises on Friday.
Just look around. I mean, I've only been here like maybe close to nearly 2 years now, maybe not. But look at the people that I have met here. I didn't bring them in, you brought them in. But I'm reading, even me, in my small part of being here, I'm meeting the right people. So what are you guys doing, right? You're bringing in everybody that should be here. And the ones that aren't, I don't wish them or say they were necessarily in the wrong place, but they weren't in the right place when they should have been here. I'm an example of that. I should have been here 3 years before this happened.
But you keep pushing, you don't give up. That's what makes you different than other people. You show up. You showed up when your daughter unfortunately passed away. You showed up through Steve's illness. You showed up through your daughter's memorial. I mean, you continue to show up. Even when you don't feel well, you're such an empath. You got the same thing Steve, you know, you didn't, but you did. You showed up. And you have that commitment to doing what you do.
Well, that's the word. It's commitment. If I go ahead and do something, I can come and horror or say, and I don't do it. But once I do that, I am completely in. Even when I used to sell, if I was having a bad day, I used to leave it at the door, and I was completely, so much so we used to have people that shadowed us, and so that they could learn what I was doing. But I was more firm than most people. They're not meant to talk. But this isn't me. If they said one word, and because I was so committed to my sale of what I was doing, I would really get obnoxious. Don't you talk. I mean, that's not really me. But I'm so committed to what I'm doing, and that applies to anything that I do that I'm committed to.
You tell me not to talk all the time.
Well, because I'm committed
She's
to whatever I'm
committed to you not
doing.
talking.
Okay, yeah,
Listen, you brought Steve into a family. Steve got a little sick on us, and collectively together, all of us praying over Steve every day. And he's back and he's healthy. And that's really the power of what you have brought here. Because without it, then Steve would be wandering in the desert. But he's back, he's healthy, thank God. He's going back to work, which is really, really good.
It's really,
Not that
really
we want to
good.
see you go to work, but that you can do it. And those
Sally wants to see me go.
yeah, Sally would say that the first 24 minutes and say, no, you know what, come back. But the object,
he needs to go back.
but at least that he can go back. You know, that he's healed. We've lost others who were not here, were not part of the house. Same illness. So you come and figure out how that it turns out.
Well,
But he's here and he's good.
I
and
don't
we
want
pray
to
on that.
say, because it's like I'm not bragging about anything, and you know that. But I do believe that many people you could have been wherever at this particular time, but I was here with my attitude, whether it helped you or not. It helped me help you, but then it's still up to that person to receive that too. So we are put in certain situations where we're meant to be. Not everybody will accept it. It's got to be both ways here. But if you see that and you feel, if you meet someone, if there's that, it's not always, but that instant, they call it chemistry, then you know there's something going on, something, gut feelings. I don't like that person, then you know what, walk away. Maybe they'll come back into your life at a different time. It's all about timing too. We feel it. We all have it, the ability to feel this.
And with timing, they tell us we got to wrap it up.
I'm just going to say, and
There's
the
your
timing
timing.
is it's where we should finish the show. See you guys next week.
But check it out. We're going to post everything for Call Me Zena, where she's going to be speaking. If it's an open venue, of course you will be invited. And if not, Sally is open to speak at any of your locations, country clubs, assisted living, independent livings, or even just a private party, which is always so much fun. You can always contact Sally right here at the studio at 888-994-4995 or on all of her social media pages, including LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Say goodbye, Sally.
Bye. I see you next week.
Goodbye, Sally.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybarnard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day. You have been